Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back. As always, huge massive thank you for the support. So I did say that I was going to work through the Special Days luxury topper collection. This is the collection that is designed to go sort of throughout the year with most of the big occasions on it. So I'm starting today with Proud Moments, which is sort of your graduation, passing driving test sort of theme. And you've got a beautiful little mouse, owl and lion. I think he's a lion, he's definitely a lion. And then you've got your bear in his car, pass him. You've got the printed cardstock with the bear on, super cute. Both of the inserts, because I've got the insert pack as well, I've got the whole collection with the little book. Both of the inserts have that car on, but obviously you wouldn't use all of that necessarily. You might do, but you might not. And then you've got this foiled piece with the graduating little creatures. I can't say woodland creatures because I'm sure that is a lion. We don't really see many lions around here. More is the pity. But let me just pop those to the side. Okay. So to start with, just going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to take a 12 by 6 card blank. And I'm going to cut this at 2 and 2 notches all the way along. This will go into my bit box. And then if I bring in my scoreboard, this piece here I'm just going to score at 6 inches. So I'm just really going to have essentially a really skinny little card. Make sure that's not very straight. Let me just grab that trimmer back. Why is that not very straight? So I'm going to do 2.2. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there, but definitely it wasn't straight. Still not straight. Let's try that again. Doesn't always go to plan, folks. Right, so 2.2, lining up at the bottom, 2.2 at the bottom, 2.2 at the top. And I'm thinking, because that doesn't want to go straight, maybe it's on the wonk on one side. So that seems to be going a lot better. Maybe I didn't have it quite flush, but we will put that aside for now. Okay, so now when I score this at 6 inches, it should be nice and smooth. Yeah, that seems to fit better. I'm going to bring in another piece of 6 by 12 and I'm going to score at 3 and at 6, and then I'm going to turn that around. I'm going to score at 1, 2 and 4. That's just going to make me a little triple sort of step card. Let's move that out of the way and we'll get all these folds finished down nice and tight. So just making sure that's flush on that side. And again, so it's just mountain and valley. And the plan is to have a sort of step here and then having that bridge up the side. But essentially it's still going to go in a 6 by 6 envelope. So this is looking like that. So you've got that concertina. And then this is going to come over the side. I think I'm just going to go to that middle step. And then we're going to have some other bits going on. So the mats that I need to make, so this piece is 3 by 6, this middle one is 2 by 6, and this one is 1 by 6, and then obviously this is 2 by 6 because we just did it at 2 notches over the 6. So let's bring in some foil card. I'm using the A4, and I'm going to start by cutting this to 2 notches under the 6, and we'll see how much we can get out of here first of all. So if I go with this first one, the smallest one first, just because it's usually the hardest one to cut, actually I'm going to do it on this side, and I'm going to go 2 notches under the 1. So that's that one there. And then we can come to this next one and we can go 2 notches under the 2. And then we can go to this one, which is 2. Because remember, we did that 2 notches over the 2. So that should fit quite nicely onto there. And it does. And then this back one, which was 3. So we're just going to go 2 notches under that 3. And I've just got one narrow piece left over. Okay. So then coming in with the actual cardstock, and I'm going to use this piece here. So I'm thinking, now do I want to pop that onto this piece here? And that's going to come over another, leaving a narrow card for that. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut this down to 1 3/4. And then I'm going to make that 5 3/4. I think I might have done that too thin. I have. So what we'll do is we'll swap that for that middle one then. And we'll put that in there. Okay. And then I'm going to cut this first of all at 2 notches under the 6, because this is the piece that is the widest. And that is the piece that is now 2 notches under the 2. Just take a little bit more off. Not doing very well with cutting my cardstock today, but we'll get there. Okay. So now I'm going to just, let's have a look. 5 3/4, and then I'm going to cut a piece that's 3/4 of an inch for that front piece. Remember, the smaller bits are the hardest bits to cut, and then we want a piece that's 2 3/4 for the back. Now if I did want to, so I've got those 2 pieces left over, if I did want to mix it up, what I could do, rather than using the cardstock, you could come in with some of this background. So you know, you're looking at just that, it would just be that there, and I am covering it up with some of it up with a topper anyway, so it really wouldn't make that much difference if you did it that way. I would have preferred to have the foil piece on there, but I've cut it too small and I don't want to spend the time fixing that. So I could fix it by popping a bit of ribbon across a join or something like that, but I'm not going to do that today. You've seen me do that before. We can manage, and it's still going to look cute. So the glues I'm going to be using today, I've got the Clout all-purpose in there, and I've got the Clout tacky glue in this one. Just got a little lump of glue there. Let's just get rid of that. So let's start with this back piece. So I'm just going to put some tacky. It's supposed to be in the corners, but I'm being a bit lazy today. And then we can pop this one onto here. And in terms of the insert itself, when I do put an insert in for the card, what I'll do is it'll go in this piece here. So it'll just be a piece that's 3 by to fit a 3x6. And I'm not going to mat and layer it onto foil. That will just go straight onto the cardstock. And I'll just cut it 2 notches below the 3 and the 6. And we can pop we'll start to pop all these layers on. Hopefully it'll stick. Just gonna move that along a little bit there. And like I always say, just make sure your top layers are the most noticeable, so make sure you get those right. So I'm not quite sure what's gone on here. Let me just take that off. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Let me just peel you off so you do get a bit of wiggling time. Let's pop that over there. Now, is it me or is it this one? Which one has gone a little wonky? I suspect it's this one. Right, just to be sure, what I'm going to do is cut that piece again. Let's put it to the side. Just, I have got plenty of this silver, so it's not the biggest problem in the world. I've just buried it though. Let's grab a big piece. So what I used to do, Hunkydory used to do these packs where you'd get 50 gold A4 and 50 silver. But because most of the kits are gold, I ended up with, like, I've got loads and loads of silver. Okay, so let me just put that on there that way around. Oh, so it was that other piece of silver. I'm glad I took it off. Now it does look a little messy there, but that cardstock, when I glue it back on, it's going to hide that. So let's just pop you there. And at least it shows that the glues are working, but not working so much that I couldn't rectify that issue. I'm feeling it's going to be one of those craft days today, but we're gonna keep going. And usually it works out in the end. So this one, because the glue's dried now, all that alcohol has evaporated, so we'll just come back in, pop that down, and that is much better. Not sure what's going on with my cutting skills. Obviously I've got none today. So let me just check that's going to fit in quite nicely. And then I'm just going to check this piece on there as well. We'll just double check our work before we start gluing. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Nothing worse than wasting cardstock, but at least it's the silver and not the other. So I'm just popping these on every other one, so I'm not decorating in the middle. You could do if you wanted to, but I am not going to. And then I think I'm going to have that holograph at the foiling at the top, so we can actually see it. And I am going to be bringing in, because I did get the whole collection, I am going to be bringing in that little book on this card as well, because I didn't want to use all of the toppers. I didn't mind using all of the toppers, but I just wanted something a little different for this one. So I turned to the little book and the answer was there, I think. So right, actually you probably should put some dots on here with it being a smaller piece, just to hold that well. I just find these smaller pieces have a harder time gluing for some odd reason. There we go. same again. I am going to use my other glues. Okay. If you wanted to, you could just have that pretty border on here, although there is on the topper set there is that border there. Let's just go over, go a little to this left, so it does feel like it could be just that teensy bit longer, but I am putting that piece over so it's not going to, you're not going to see. Okay, so at the moment that, it's very difficult to see because it's not behaving. Just don't want it to move by pressing it about. That is what we're looking at the moment. Obviously we've got those decorated on. So let's come in with these bits now. Let me just even up this fold line, that's a bit better. And I'm going to go this piece first of all. Just put it on. Of dots on just because we are going to be putting that topper on here fairly quickly, and also I'm going to be handling this while I stick this to my other card. Okay, so now I'm going to need some red liner tape. I'm going to go for this slightly thicker one. This is probably about 1/4 of an inch. I just want 2 pieces, one for the front, one for the back. Let's put that there because it's, I'm just going to open it up on there and on there. You can see that's moved. Those dots are supposed to be holding that nicely for me. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one off. And I'm going to pop some PVA glue. I don't want to go too high because I'm remembering that this step is only an inch. And then I'm just going to come over, put down nice and flat, and then we're going to go on there. I think go over the whole thing. Yeah, I think I will. I'll go over the whole thing. So what we want to do is just make sure that has folded down nice and flat. And then what we can do is pop our tape off. And I am going to pop tacky glue just where I know this is going to cover, and then we can just come, I can trim that little bit off the edge in a second, and that is going to hold our card together. If you wanted to, you could come with another one here, another sort of bridge. I have done that on cards before, and it does look nice if you've got a couple of toppers sort of similar smaller size. But let's just turn that one that way. Just trim that off. Okay, so that's what we're working with at the moment. Okay, now if I turn to the topper sheet, and I'm going to be bringing in the cutest little owl. And I'm going to be bringing in congratulations. And I'm going to be bringing in so proud of you. So you don't have to use all of these if you don't want to. You could use one from your little book, because it's bound to be something in there like similar sort of congratulations or sort of that sort of sentiment. But that is there. Okay, so we're going to have our owl coming across here, and I'm just going to use some 1mm foam pads, just checking I'm keeping them on the right side. I'm just going to pop these on here, and put a nice amount on there for a good amount of support. There we go. And again, tacky glue just to give us that bit of wiggle room time. And I'm going to pop him or her. We've got blue on, so we'll listen for him. And then I'm going to do the same for this. Actually, I'm going to do this so proud of you at the bottom. And I'm going to put this one onto that bottom step. Just make sure we've got that the right way around. We're going to go, oops, it's a bit slippy. That's good, means we can get it how we want it. So at the moment that's how we have, and you could stop there, a couple of gems up here, it would look really nice. But what I decided to do was I took this page from the little book and I did mat and layer him onto some light white cardstock. That's just the light off his piece. And then what I wanted to do was come in and just pop a couple of little layers on him. Now I am probably going to be using some 2mm on this piece, because what I wanted to do was pop this underneath his wings so that he's sort of holding it. So let me just go round, and I think I'm going to go around his sort of bow, beautiful little bow tie he has there. And I'm going to come down this side, not being particularly careful because it's exactly the same image and we are going to see it underneath. And I think I do need to cut away his little tummy. Come down his little owl medallion. And round. I'll go with that. That might be quite cool. There we go. And then I also just want his little hat, because it would be silly to do his little arms and not his little hat. Or do they call it a mortarboard, something like that? I'm sorry about having to cut his beautiful face up, but just do a couple of bits of wiggles at the bottom there around that tassel. And then along and along. those bits out of the way. And I was kind of thinking that I might need to cut a little bit away here. I kind of want him to be holding. So what I'm going to do is just cut. Maybe that's a bad idea, but no, it looks like it's coming over. And then what I'm going to do here, so it just looks like his sleeve has fallen over on that side. So we'll just take that bit there. I'm going to tuck that there and under his little wing there. So if I bring in a little 1mm foam pad, and I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to pop plenty of glue, and it only just needs to be, so we're going around about there, there, so let's cut that bit there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then these ones, we are going to come in with these 2mm ones. Probably should have kept a bit of his wing on there, but it's going to look fine. And just going to build him up before I pop him onto either the middle step or the back step. I'm not quite sure which one is going to look best for him. But we will see. He's going to go on one of those steps. Okay, let's grab the little tweezers, and then we can come in, just making sure I line up his bow tie. Good smidge a bit to the left, and the benefit of having that glue on there just means you do get that little bit of wiggle room time. Let's move that over. Okay, I might pop a little pad under there in a second. 2mm again, and I'll show you how I do that. That might be quite a useful trick to show you. That's if it works out right. The way things have been going today, maybe it hasn't been working quite as well as my usual. There goes Henry. I'm just going to drop this into some tiny pieces here just to get into these corners. Let's do this first of all before we do that sleeve. I mean, you could come in with another layer again with those either put the arms back in, pop it on there as well, or cut it away so that it looks like the arms are a little bit further back. But I didn't want to use too many of these pages up. Not on the first card I've made from this kit anyway. Okay, and then we're just going to pop his beautiful hat on. Again, just easing that into position. Just seeing a bit there where I've missed it when I was cutting the base layer, so we just tidy that up. Okay, so now we've got our little character like that. I mean, he would look good on his own card. And I was going to show you what I do if I'm trying to just pop a little bit in. So what I do is take all the backs off with my reverse tweezers, like so, and then I grab it from the side. So we've got sticky at the top and the bottom. Just get rid of that. And then what I can do, I'm not putting any other glue on there or anything. I can just pop that in and pop it down, and that automatically sticks. And we've got that looking a little bit better. Okay, so let's see where we want him to be. So I was kind of thinking of this middle step, and I'm still thinking that middle step, if I'm honest. And I think, do I want to put him on flat, or do I want to kind of thinking at a little bit of an angle? I think what we need to do is, I'm going to pop another pad on here. Okay, so it's just going to pop out a little bit again. I'm only putting that bit there. Again, plenty of tacky glue so I can wiggle him into position. And then we can pop. Just want to make sure I am underneath with those pads. Yep, we are there. So it looks like it's hidden when the card is closed, but when it's open, when I show you in a second, once I've got some gems on, you will see that you can see that perfectly well. Now I'm thinking maybe some black pearls, because this does feel quite masculine, this one. So let's go with these ones. These ones were a magical monochrome. I think they came in my goodie box. So I'm going to pop 1 and 2 there. And then I'm going to pop 1 of these medium-sized ones. Would have been, let's not take the sticky bit, so it would have been easier if I'd gone there in the first place. I'm just going to put those 3 on. You could, if you've got any little black stars or holographic stars, I think they would work. You could cut them yourself out of a punch if you've got one. But that is the finished card. If I just sort of splay it out a little bit, you can see when that's on a shelf, you're going to see that congratulations, so proud of you. I think that's quite cute. You see there's no mess on the back. So all you can see is just the cardstock that I've cut out. Just a simple bit of decoupage on there, and he looks quite cute. I think he would, well, they all would look quite cute just as little toppers. I mean, I could then go in with the lion and the little mouse there, and I could do this similar sort of thing with a different card with those, with their toppers, something like that. You know, it's like easy to do, and it looks quite effective. And like I say, there's bound to be some congratulations in the little book of sentiments. But that is card number 1. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, I'm bringing in another piece of a 6x12. And I'm going to do an easel card for this one. Like one of those little half easels with the topper coming over the top. So, like I say, it's a 6x12 300 GSM cardstock. And I'm simply going to score at 3 and 6. And then that is going to give us our folds. Let's bring this in. Now I am going to be using the one of the inserts on the bottom of here, because I want to try and save some cardstock for other cards with this topper. So there's quite a few on there. You know, look, I've only used 1. I've still got 4 left, 2 sentiments and a border. So jam pack this one. Okay, so let's grab the trimmer. Let's see if I can do better with my cutting this time. So the base layer needs to be a piece that's 6 by 6. So I'm just going to take 2 notches off the 6 and 2 notches off the 6. And I'm just going to check it just because my cutting's been a bit hit and miss today. Okay, and then this piece here at the top is 3 by 6. So 2 notches under the 3. That's only just, and that should already be 2 notches under the 6. And then that piece should fit rather nicely onto there. And it does. Okay, so let's pop that into my bit box for now. So from the actual printed cardstock, I'm going to cut it to 5 3/4 because I know I've still got a decent size there for another 6 by 6 card. And then I'm going to take 2 3/4 from this bottom piece. So this piece left over now is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 1/2. So I could always split that and put a border in there. You know, loads of things I can do just to extend that out to a 6 by 6 if I wanted to. And I'm just going to make sure that fits rather nicely on there. I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, and I'm going to swap trimmers because this is insert paper and it really doesn't like that trimmer. I'm going to change to the guillotine. And this bit just needs to be 5 3/4 square. So 5 3/4, and I'm going to keep this the same line in so it all ties together and makes sense. So that's going to be our bottom piece. And I'm not using our little carman on there. I'm going to keep that. Or shall I put that bit on? It might make more sense. Let's just go in. So I've still got that there. I can still use that. But what I'm going to do, just changing my mind as I do. I'm just thinking there's only 2 toppers with. There are 2 toppers with the little car on. And 3 toppers with the graduation, so that can still be a graduation. I can put another border along there, I can do anything with that, but I can't hide a big bear in a car, as many people would struggle to do so also, real or otherwise. Okay, so let's go with our glue. So because this is paper, of course I'm not going to use my tacky glue. I'm going to use my dotty tape pen. This is my favourite tape pen that I've ever used in the whole of my crafting life. It feels really nice in my hand and it's just really super useful. I don't like the full tape strip. I struggle with that because the glue tries to stay attached to the tape, which makes me very nervous because I am a nervous crafter. But I do like this dotty one. Okay, so now we're going on to the cardstock. I can go back to my usual glues. There we go. And I have been using that tape pen more than I have anything else, you know, more than any other tape pen that I've used. I mean, I have got some Crafters Companion one, which, you know, they're okay. I'm not saying there's anything bad about them. I do use them. But the feel on the Hunkydory one is just really comfortable in my hand. I think that's the big difference for me. So it's not particularly the dots itself, it's the actual feel of the tape pen. And of course I love the fact that you can just refill it. I think nowadays, I mean, crafting is not very, you use a lot of paper, don't you? So I'm guessing it's probably not as environmentally friendly, although I think most companies do use responsibly, sustainably sourced materials. But at the end of the day, you're still chopping down trees to make paper, aren't you? So where we can make these little concessions to the environment like that, where you're just helping it by not putting more plastic into the world than we really need. It's good, it's good. Okay. And also just saying, you know, most paper is, at least it's recyclable, isn't it? So, okay, so it's not as bad as other things. Okay, I'm chattering on. So this is going to be our little car up here. I'm going to use, I could go in with that border, but I want to keep those tyre tracks there. So I'm going to come in with my You've Passed. Again, if you don't want to use this one, you could go in with your little book sentiments, little book of sentiments. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pop some 2mm foam pads on here, and you can already see this is a really quick card, not a lot to it at all. So it's just, sometimes when you see it over, you can see this, turn it over, you can see the pips more, so it's easier just to snip them. Okay, so we're going to put that off. I'm going to bring in my little T-square, hopefully to help me get this a bit straight. I'll put plenty of glue on because I need to shift that around and it will soak into that paper underneath. So let's bring that up. I think I do want to go, let's come down just a little bit. I think I'm going to go there. So it does look like there's a lot of silver there, but that's just because of where I'll put that. Okay. T-square is trying to kill me. So for this piece here, we're just going to come in with some, I think I'm going to go on the wonk a bit. So I'm just going to pop. So I want to put a nice amount on so it's good and stable. I'm just going to pop another little one there. So again, taking these off. There we go, and then we can just come, like so, just like on that little bit of a wonk, because nobody drives straight just after they pass their test, do they? Okay, so I'm going to come back to these monochrome again, or the magical monochrome. I don't know whether to go with the black. I think probably the black is going to be better. I really like that dark grey as well. Let's go dark grey just for a little bit of different, because sometimes the silver, when it catches colour, it kind of looks a little bit dark grey, doesn't it? So just going to come in with these. Like I say, this is a super quick card. No, it's lighter. Why is that lighter? That's a bit better. So we can go with those three there, and then I'm just going to come in with 2 on this bottom side. Classic pearl arrangement. or gem arrangement, since I didn't want to leave my hand. Okay. There. And I'm going to call that one finished. Okay, let's just move those out of the way. So that is going to be our little finished easel card. It's like a half easel. So it looks quite cool with him driving over the top there, peering over the top like you do when you're going over a hill. Now what I will say is, because that is paper on there, just keep an eye on that as that's drying. Might be worth putting something on so that it dries nice and flat. Let me just bring back our intelligent owls. So we've got that one there as well, like so. And that is it for today's video. What I will do is just make a couple of cards with these. I'll do those now while this video is editing, and I will pop those up. I usually pop them up the day after these go live. So once the video goes live, these will go onto Pinterest the same day. And then any other cards I make with what's left over, I usually schedule those to go on Pinterest the next day. Pinterest is a weird thing, and I don't really understand it about numbers, because one day it will say that I've had 85,000 impressions, which I think is just where they've shown it to in a panel, you know, like when you go on search, and then randomly for the next day it will go right down to 65. And I find if I do post every day, the numbers stay a bit higher. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's just exciting to say, you know, 85,000 people might have seen this card or that card, or one of my cards at least. But yeah, so I don't really understand, well, I don't understand the YouTube algorithms really either. And you know, that's the thing I really ought to try and get my head around. But to be honest with you, I enjoy the crafting more than anything else. So you know, it is what it is, and I'm not going to chase numbers or anything. It's not my favourite thing. I just like making cards, to be honest. But that's it for today. I'm whittering on again. I do apologise, but I will see you again with another set from this kit. Like I say, I'm going to work through the whole thing, so you'll have suggestions for each set. But until next time, happy crafting. Bye.